John Smith, we missed you last week of all the episodes. Anything you want to be excited about that we couldn't get to last week?
Tick tock.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Essential Wrestling Podcast, powered as always by the Eastern Observer. Oh, you can taste the power. Glad to have you with us on this wonderful Tuesday evening. Fun week of wrestling, as always. On the bottom part of our screen, joining us, the first ever PWP champion, the living legend, John McConney. John, how are things today, pal?
Good. It's a beautiful day in Jersey. Seems like we have moved past swamp ass season, so that's always a big red letter day for me.
Yeah, it hasn't rained a lot. I got a lot of brown grass by my neck of the woods. And returning back after a little bit of a layover last week, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back.
And number 4, John Smith.
John, we missed you last week, buddy. Like I said, of all the freaking weeks for you to miss, and the one day you've been waiting for God knows how long. And
yeah, we were having brownout issues, I guess. Half my house still had power, though, but it wasn't the right half. So my router was out. But Mr. Ducani, every season is swamp-ass season for me. So unless it's like 0 degrees outside.
That's a good point.
That is comfortable. Yes. Okay, swamp-ass aside, here we go. Always a riveting conversation to start the show. On today's episode, CM Punk returns to confront Jon Moxley after Mox's successful title defense at Quake by the Lake. Gunther and Shinsuke Nakamura absolutely kill it on SmackDown. The United States title was once again defended last night on Raw. Bobby Lashley's been busy. Gary Mehaffy is with us this week, as always, to discuss NXT UK and the beginning of the UK Championship Tournament. We've got 3 brackets going on, boys. Not to mention I have a cornhole tournament this weekend. We have 4 brackets, at least for me. We got 3 brackets in wrestling. It's a lot of fun. Gotta love those brackets. It's not even March, right? Oh, jeez. We make our picks for this week's upcoming shows, which is always sponsored by Pro Wrestling Pick'em. ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends. Play against the universe. And guys, she will like it too.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to main event the show, making our picks with NXT Heatwave. Hold on, let me get this guy. She's got that look on her face, though. She looks it. We're going to main event their show this week, making our picks for tonight's NXT Heatwave. I'm excited about that show. 5 amazing matches. Going to be incredible. Really looking forward to it. Here are the Raw roll-up standings heading into last week. Raw has been pretty dormant. Haven't seen a roll-up out of them in a while. AEW and Impact on their heels now, making us stand. They're all over 30 or more. SmackDown's been kind of dormant as well. So we'll see how that ends up if this week changes any. It really wasn't that much. Not a lot of roll-ups coming up. It really hasn't been as exciting as it has been. But we're going to curtain jerk the show with Impact Wrestling with their Friday night Impact Plus special. That was really good. That was amazing. That's tough. With the SmackDown's putting out, what SmackDown's been putting out, maybe Impact will eventually change their process and doing these Friday night shows. But Emergence was a great show nonetheless. John DeConnie. Main event, Alex Shelley got his first ever world championship match, and this just did not disappoint at all. It was everything that people wanted it to be.
Absolutely not. Yeah, this match was everything you wanted it to be. Like you said, a winner was us, 100%. It started off, even the psychology. I mean, you knew it was physically going to be great, but the psychology was great in it. At the contract signing the day before, it
was really good. Yeah.
To give them a little bit of an edge with each other. Shelley basically called Josh an Alex Shelley mark. Josh fired back with, I was more of a Saban guy because he actually won the big one. There weren't going to be real hard feelings between the two of them, but they gave us enough to make us think they were going to go after it. And of course, they got after it physically. There was a lot of chain wrestling in the beginning, and Shelley was leading the dance. He was toying with Josh at times, smacking him around a little bit. And then from the ring psychology point of it, he was going after the shoulder early so that he couldn't torque on the ankle lock, or he couldn't, lift for the C4, because those are his two ways out of most matches. So there was Shelley went for that Border City stretch where he's yanking on the one shoulder like 3 or 4 different times. Every time he had Josh in a seated position, he would drop kick that shoulder and whatnot. He worked him over really well. And we get towards the end of it. Josh has a little bit of a comeback. Shelley takes control again. He hits sliced bread like 3 times, including once on the floor. And then we get we get to the very end of it, and Shelley connects with 2 consecutive shell shocks. Only gets a 2 out of it. He goes for the Border City stretch again. Alexander rolls him over into a cover for 2. Shelley goes for sliced bread again. This time Alexander stops him, catches him on the shoulder, and hits a spinning tombstone. Only gets a 2 count. Shelley goes. Shelley, he does the leg block on the C4 spike. So Alexander drops him with a shell shock of his own. And then he picks him back up. C4 spike, 1, 2, 3. 27 and a half minutes of holy bleep. This is awesome. Everything you wanted. Josh Alexander is still your Impact champion.
And rightly so. Seems like he's on his way to Bound for Glory. We're going to get the Bound for Glory at some point in this segment towards the end. Making our picks, huge match announced, I think it was yesterday. Until we get there, though. Steve Maclin, Sami Callihan, that match never got started. They just fought, and it was absolute chaos. So,
but the brawl never ended.
The brawl never ended. And we're going to keep on circling back to this. Since Kenny King wasn't in the 10-man tag team match with Honor No More, King tried to set a trap for Heath. Not a smart move to mention that you're setting a trap. If you're going to set the trap, maybe there was a little okay. But anyway, is that it backfired, obviously, when Sami and Steve Maclin ended up fighting in the crowd, allowing Heath to sneak up behind Kenny Cut. Kenny King was his attention was diverted. He snuck up behind them, hit it wasn't the roster cut. What's his
wake up call?
Wake up call. I get that. Cardona's got the roster cut, right? That's
right.
That
no, Myers.
Myers, yeah. It's all the 3 same though, right? It's the 3 guys that are all at the same time. The original Future Endeavor list. The originals.
There you
go. So Maclin and Sami, they keep rolling, then they disappear again. Heath gets one over at Kenny King, but then later on, we finally get that 10-man tag team match, John Connie, Honor No More, everything on the line here. The biggest match as a faction. If they lose, they had to disband, but if they win, they start getting the things that they quote unquote deserve.
Yes, indeed. So as you said, Kenny King wasn't a part of it. So it was their leader, Eddie Edwards. It was OGK. It was Vincent. It was PCO against the Bullet Club, Good Brothers, Ace, Bay, and Hikuleo coming back over to spice things up. And I don't know if they made this specifically well known ahead of time, but this was 5-on-5. Just go at it. This is anything goes. Don't worry about tagging. Don't worry about where you are in the building. Just beat the living hell out of each other, which they did for like 15 and a half, almost 16 minutes. And then if you remember from last week, PCO and Doc Gallows had that big match where Gallows wound up through the ring and, with PCO standing on his chest. Well, Gallows had a bit of an ouchie. His shoulder was all taped up with the kinesio tape. And when it came right down to, the most important moments of the match, the Good Brothers went for the Magic Killer, but Doc Gallows, he just couldn't, keep that person on his shoulder and dropped him. Anderson got knocked out of the ring. Edwards cracked Gallows across the back of the head with a kendo stick. And then Taven hit what the hell does he call it? The climax on Gallows onto a garbage can, and both Taven and Bennett just piled on top of Gallows to keep him down for the 1, 2, 3. Honor No More wins. They get to stay together, and OGK, at least for starters, gets a tag title match coming up.
Yeah, and I think Eddie Edwards is going to benefit from this as well. So we'll get to that, like I said, at the end of the segment. There was a backstage interview with Moose, denying again his partnership with Steve Macklin. Right on cue, Sandy and Macklin's brawl spilled into the interview, and now Moose is getting involved. D'Amore came out. Eventually, it spilled into the ring with the three of them. Scott D'Amore came out, apologized to the fans. His fault, thinking that actually Macklin and Callahan could actually have an actual standard wrestling match. So he threw Moose out, giving the fans what they want, made the match no disqualification. And the bell finally rings after all this time, after probably about an hour and a half of brawling into the back. Macklin and Sami Callihan finally had their match going. Sami Callihan with the win after the Cactus Driver 97, while Macklin's hands were zip-tied behind their backs. It's nice when you find just a set of zip ties linked together. Useless in any other faction. That's supposed to the point of the zip ties that you can't unbreak them. So the fact that he got the 3 chain together, that was very convenient. So somebody did that on purpose. Good for them, whoever thought of that. Jordan Grace defeated Mia Yim to retain the Knockouts title. Hurricane Championship reign is going to continue, as well as Mike Ball Speed Bailey's John Smith.
Yeah, and anytime this guy's on screen, a winner is you. Now, Jack Evans kind of could keep up with him, but he showed towards the end that he really couldn't, because after he hit a flying blockbuster and then chased Speedball up to the top rope to do some sort of German suplex where he hooked his knees over the top rope, so he stayed up there. He went for a moonsault, missed it, but he knew he was missing it. Popped up to his feet, backed up, but it was too late because Speedball was already doing his spinning, the setup for his spinning karate kick.
Yep.
Evans tried to move out of the way, but still got nailed. I'd like to see the replay on that. They never showed us a different angle, but I'd like to see how hard he got hit. And then all of a sudden, he's conveniently right in the right spot for the somersault double knee shooting star move. I forget what he calls it.
The ultimate weapon.
Ultimate weapon, yeah. For the 1, 2, 3, and Ball Speed is still your champion.
John Smith, I'm going to ask you this question because he reminds me a lot of somebody. I know I said Eric Bischoff, which I think this is what Bischoff, I think, in his head as a wrestler would be, because he had the karate background and he had the mullet, and it's who wins with Speedball versus Steve Blackman?
Oh wow.
That's he's the modern day Steve Blackman, but I think I'm going to give it to Bailey on this one. I don't
know if I'd call him the modern day Steve Blackman. Blackman was more of a tough guy.
Yeah,
but
if you're friends with Vader, you got to be a tough guy.
Right? If there's kendo sticks involved, Blackman takes it. Otherwise, I think Speedball is a little too fast for him.
When they unleashed Blackman in the hardcore division and he got to use all those toys and the kendos and everything, that was a lot of fun. Violent by Design, Eric Young, I guess, subbed himself in for, I don't know if Doring's hurt or whatever it was on Thursday night, so it was actually Eric Young and Diener. They defeated Kushida, Chris Sabin, Eric Young leading by example, hitting a pile driver on Chris Sabin for the win, so Eric Young trying to right the ship here. In a AAA attraction match, Bandito defeated Ray Horus after a 21-plex. Pretty innovative move. I kind of like that. On ProWrestlingPick'em.com, I just inserted because we're doing trios titles now in AEW, and I know we just crowned new Ring of Honor 6-man tag titles with Dalton Castle and the boys, so I had to put them in the resource section. And I found out in the course of the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team history that Bandito and Ray Horus are former 6-man tag team champions together. They were a team. I forget who the third person was on the team who makes the trio, but they were former champions together, so fun story. Somebody might have been, I don't know who it was. I don't want to say anything. It's somebody that's known too. I'm just blanking on it. On the kickoff show, Vex, talking on the one from Jersey. Vex defeated Rosemary Ty Valkyrie after Rosemary accidentally missed a Taya, allowing Vex to hit a double suplex for the win.
They got to work on their finisher.
Yeah, we got to. I remember they tried to do a finisher when they beat Jordan and Mia in that tag team match. They had a finisher
where they were just flipping the person into kind of like a slam.
they screwed it up, and I think maybe they just never. I forget what they tried to do, but it didn't look well. Like, I remember being on this show, like, yeah, they need to work on that, and they ended up just doing a double suplex for the win, which is fine. Whatever, gets the job done. 3 championship belts for Jersey right now. Waiting on Sonya to win that tag team title belt tournament with Natalya. Then we get time to find some way to get Tasha back involved in this.
Does this take over the zigzag as the worst finisher in wrestling?
A double suplex, it might.
Yeah, it might.
Also on the kickoff show, Brian Myers defeated Bhupinder Gujar with the roll-up. Check one for Impact. There we go. To retain the Digital Media Championship. So here are the standings after emergence. Beavis went under 500. He's going to lose some ground here. John DeConnie, myself, John Smith, all 5-2. Brandon Roy, Gary Mehaffy, each 4-3. Gary, I believe, did pick. I don't know if he picks Shelley to win. There's a reason why he's losing some points. So we're going to bring Gary early in a second. But going into Thursday, they did announce a couple of matches in the past day or so. This Thursday on Impact, the first match that we're going to discuss, actually, as we mentioned, Heath got Kenny King from behind. Can't imagine Kenny King being happy about that. So it's going to be Kenny King representing Honor No More, who's still a thing, going up against Heath one-on-one this Thursday, John Smith. Who do you got?
I think Heath pulls this one off. I think they're going to be giving him a good main event push now.
All right. John DeConnie.
I wonder if Honor No More is not just going to be, feeling that whole victory thing, and they're not, there's going to be this match is going to get thrown out because they all just jump Heath and beat the hell out of him for sneak attack.
That's kind of where I'm going. They don't care about the win. Just get him.
Yeah.
Now he's not going to sneak attack you, and unless Rhinos do back, Heath's in trouble. It's really. I don't think Heath's got any friends right now. He's doing this by himself. So, John Smith, we have an X Division Championship match. Mike Bailey, he's getting right back at it, being challenged by the Bullet Cubs, Chris Bay.
Ooh. Wrestling's hardest working man, huh? Yeah, I'm taking Speedball until he proves me wrong.
Yeah, John DeConnie, I don't think it's going to be Chris Bay on. I think it's going to be on a pay-per-view. I think you might as well just let him just go into Bound for Glory in some type of car crash, whatever, boxing gimmick match.
Absolutely.
They have for that.
I concur.
Okay. Then in the main event, we're going to bring in Gary Mehaffy early. Gary, top of the evening to you, my laddie. How are things going today?
Not too bad. Just tasting the par, keeping myself ready here to get going.
There you go. Glad to have you. As always, we're going to bring you in here early. This is an absolutely huge match signed for this Thursday. It's going to be a 6-way elimination match. The winner will be the challenger in the main event at Bound for Glory. So Bound for Glory, that's Impact's version of WrestleMania, their version of Wrestle Kingdom. This is their big show. So this is going to be, I don't say over 30 minutes or whatever. I'll leave it up here. John DeConnie as our senior Impact correspondent. I'm assuming Josh Alexander is going to have to defend the title at Victory Road before he gets to Bound for Glory.
Sure.
But someone's going to be waiting for him. And who do you got?
And I think, Swan's a former champion. Bandito's a former Ring of Honor champion. I think Macklin, Moose, and Callahan will somehow kind of X each other out. And Eddie's obviously a former champion. But I think if this isn't leading to Eddie Edwards at Bound for Glory, I will be very, very surprised. They've slow-rolled Honor No More for a long time here. I thought maybe they should have at least taken the tag titles a little while ago. They're finally getting that tag title shot, and it just seems right that they'll build towards Eddie getting a world title shot.
Gary Mehaffy. Gary, like I said, Honor No More won that match on Friday night. They're getting what they deserve. Eddie had an interaction, conversation with Josh Alexander last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was.
Yeah, I mean, I had it down to 2, and I had 2 different reasons for picking them. And I was going to go with, because I was looking between Eddie Edwards and Rich Swann, and I was going to go with Rich Swann because I thought, you know what, He's the only one of the 6 I've ever seen wrestle live. He was at a show here in Belfast. And the more I sat and thought about it, the more I went, no, and I agree with everything that John DeConte's just said. I'm going to go Eddie Edwards as well. I've changed my mind. No, my luck, that'll mean Rich Swann will probably win. But I've decided I'm going to go Eddie Edwards as well. I think that with all the stuff that Honor No More are doing, it's going to head towards him. So.
John Smith, to Gary's point too, Rich Swann also had a conversation with Josh Alexander a few weeks back, where D'Amore was like, you know what, Rich, that'd be great, but Josh is taken at Emergence. He's got Alex Shelley. We'll give you Kushida next week or whatever it was when Kushida debuted. So Rich Swann has been in conversation here too. I feel like this. I think at the end, when this is all said and done, the end of this match, since it is elimination, probably will be Rich Swann and Eddie Edwards.
Yeah, and maybe Rich Swann gets the title shot before Bound for Glory, but I thought I was so smart, but then you guys said the exact same things that I was thinking. Eddie Edwards is going to take this one.
All right, so that will do it for the Impact portion of the show. Look, that's going to be a great match. That's going to be over 25 minutes. So that should be. They should just devote the whole last 45 minutes or whatever it is to that match. That's going to be absolutely incredible. Huge stakes on the line here. Because they're Bound for Glory, their Super Bowl, their WrestleMania. So, John Smith, John DeConte, we will bid you adieu for the time being. We're going to keep Gary on to go over some more brackets. Gary, before we get to them, though, once I get this all situated here, there we go. The women's division, Eliza Alexander, Tia Hale. We kind of insinuated that this match was going to happen. Tia Hale's, I guess, first match overseas, her second match of the week. We'll get to her first one later on. But Eliza Alexander, Tia Hale.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I was surprised. When it happened, I sat and thought, oh, yeah, we talked about that. And I was surprised that Eliza Alexander won it. I did think that this would be the time for one of the NXT 2.0 ones that's come across to win another match, and Eliza can lose the match. But Tia Hale, for not having wrestled too many times, did show a lot. I'll say right at the very end, I mean, she was doing a standing moonsault, and Eliza got the knees up, obviously, which then led to the win. She had the running knee in it and then got the win. But the Tia Hale did show a lot, so it was good to see her get an opportunity to actually keep progressing and get more ring time.
Yeah, a lot of Chase U fans over there, Gary. I'm pretty sure Tia chose Chase U over Cambridge, so I'm not sure why she was getting as many cheers as she did. She kind of just told the UK to go screw. They're top-notch school.
There must be a lot of, but with all the rivalry between Oxford and Cambridge, it must have been a lot of Oxford University people there who were glad she turned down Cambridge. That's what it is. So they didn't encourage anybody but Cambridge, I suppose they're thinking.
Chase U's a lot of fun. I'm going to get back to them in a second. It's just staying in the women's division for now. Amal was on the Nina Samuels show, impromptu Nina Samuels show. She's great. just hopping in. Oh, no, I got this one. It's great. Amal prepared to go through anyone to get to the UK Women's Championship. Kind of sounded like it seems like every time Nina Samuels interrupts and does her own interview, she ends up having a match. So don't be shocked this Thursday if it's Amal versus Nina Samuels again. But going back to Chase U, and I didn't make this connection until the classroom setting and Andre Chase going over his lesson. And here comes Eddie Dennis. Like, this is perfect. Eddie Dennis, he's pissed that Andre Chase is besmirching. You gotta use that word. Besmirching NXT UK with his lectures. Eddie took a jab at Bodie, so Andre said, if you're so good, teach Saxon Hutch. Sweetums back. Where's Sweetums?
I know. I'm nearly when Eddie Dennis came in, I went, oh, this is very clever. Oh, I like what we're doing here. Okay. And I actually thought if it just ended up with Eddie Dennis saying, I'm going to get people on my own and walking away, oh, you take it somewhere. And as soon as it said, take that guy, and it cut the Saxon Huxley, I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, there's certain people I see them on NXT UK, and I'm like, why me? So I just thought, although in saying that, I mean, he's okay in the ring, but to say it was good, the premise of it was good, and it'll be interesting to see where they take it. The vignettes will be good for them, I suppose.
Yeah, I think didn't somebody else try to teach Saxon Huxley manners at some point? I don't know.
It was the artist formerly known as A-Kid, before he went across and put a mask on.
So we still don't know that. You go to WWE.com, it's still A-Kid in the UK, so I don't know. I don't know who that Axiom guy is, but yeah. So I think it's gonna be funny. Eddie Dennis trying to teach Saxon Huxley, Reign in Spain, falls mainly in the plane. Like it's gonna. This is all. What was that? I'm blanking on that show or whatever that play is. It's a British play, isn't it? UK. Anyway. Noam Dar. We're not done yet, Gary. He's not retiring like he's planning on it. Noam Dar wants a rematch for the Heritage Cup. Mark Coffey, the current champion, sees this series at one match apiece. So he agreed to it. He wants to settle it once and for all. Not a time or a date given on this yet. I think with the tournament going on, this might be a couple weeks from now. So, but let's get right to the tournament, Gar. First round action last week. Charlie Dempsey did a number, but he couldn't.
Yeah, unfortunately, that number was the 1, 2, 3. I was surprised. I mean, it was a great match. I mean, they're both good, and Charlie Dempsey's amazing. But I was surprised that he went through, because that's all three members of De Familia that Oliver Carter's gone through.
Yeah,
and actually winning it with a Raw roll up. I believe at the end too. Pick up one, not up one for us. But say
I don't mean to cut you off, but this is where that makes sense, though. This is where that completely makes sense, because Oliver Carter got his leg destroyed. Charlie Dempsey was offense the entire time, but you can't have Charlie Dempsey go against Trent Seven.
No.
So you had no choice but to use the Raw roll-up here.
Because the whole way through, I was like, what are they going to do? And actually, it even then gives you, not having seen where it goes or what happens, but when when Oliver Carter and Trent Seven have their match, you have a built-in story of going, he's already coming in with a dodgy leg, and then Trent Seven just works over it. So you have a built-in storyline for starting. So it was very good. As you say, the roll-up made sense. And when it happened, you went, that one actually has a reason for happening. So
Yep. And we'll get to Trent Seven. We'll get to Seven and Carter in a second, because you're right. There is we'll get to it now, because we're not picking that match. That semifinal match isn't for another probably 2 weeks or so. So we'll get to that next week. They hate each other. Carter and Smith were the reason why Mustache Mountain broke up.
Yeah.
So Trent Seven is going to hurt Oliver. Who's going to want to hurt Oliver Carter, and like I said, he's going in limping as it is. After going through all of De Familia, winning all those matches. And speaking of De Familia, Sam Gradfeld, he defeated Tio Man after a Michinoku driver type maneuver. Gary, De Familia sucks.
I know. They
don't win.
It would almost make. I know that the rumor is obviously that Charlie Dempsey's going across to the NXT 2.0, but it would almost make me think that all three of them were going, because, as you said, they're just kind of out of nowhere.
What are they doing with? I'm not saying they suck as professional athletes. A storyline, they can't win. I'm so disappointed in them. Rohan cheated twice during the match against Sam Gradwell, and Tio Man still couldn't get it done.
No,
they can't win. They suck.
They are, and it's not as if they try to rebuild them up, you can't exactly turn them babyface and have them become, I was downtrodden and defeated, I'm coming back, because it's not going to happen. So it'll be interesting to see what they do, because that match sort of, although we knew it was coming, it came out slightly out of left field that it happened last week. So I don't know.
He needs to flip over. The next time they're sitting at dinner, I know they sit at dinner a lot. They're a family, De Familia. Tio Man needs to flip over that table and be like, "What the hell are we doing?"
Yeah.
And it's not what are you doing? You can't not like Impact where you're blaming PCO for whatever. No, it's all three of them. They just can't get the job done, and it's frustrating, because I think it's a great. They're professional, scripted, whatever. They're doing their job here.
Yeah.
Come on, if I'm looking kayfabe at it, let's win some matches here, boys. As we mentioned, Trent Seven defeated Wolfgang after Seven got his knees up to block the Swanton event attempt, allowing Trent Seven to hit the Burning Hammer for the win. So Trent Seven advances. As we mentioned, he's going to get where the bracket. We got to put the brackets up. Hey, it's bracket time. He's going to get Oliver Carter. Not this Thursday. That'll probably be next Thursday. Let me get the graphic off of Tyler Bates' face. The two matches we got coming up this Thursday, we know confirmed. We'll just go right to the other side of the bracket. We got Tyler Bate going against Kenny Williams, Scar.
Yeah, I'm still going to say we're going to go Tyler Bate because to me, the big money in inverted commas is in a Trent Seven Tyler Bate final. So I'm going to say Kenny Williams will try to be the cockroach, but Tyler Bate will win in the end.
Yeah, I think Tyler Bates a lock. I'm gonna go Joe Coffey being a lock here too. He's just coming back. Mark Andrews, not known for his singles wrestling ability, more of a tag team guy. If you know, I think Joe. That's a great match for Joe Coffey to come back to. I think Mark Andrews is going to do great, but I think we're looking at a Tyler Bate, Joe Coffey semifinal here.
I would agree, and that'll be a really, really good match too.
Yeah, it gets so hairy. I get just so many situations coming after that. Can Oliver Carter do it again? Like, I can totally. Obviously, Trent and Tyler that's the feud and that's the money and that's everything. But if they're not going to do it at Cardiff or whatever, if you think Oliver Carter versus Joe Coffey out of nowhere, and then Joe Coffey finally gets the championship, like they can do that. We'll talk about that next week. We gotta wait for Tyler Bate and Joe Coffey to win first. But I'm not locking this in as a Trent Seven Tyler Bate final yet.
As you say, if they went that way, like say for instance, they did Oliver Carter and Trent Seven first, and Oliver Carter wins, you then can have when they go to Tyler Bate and Joe Coffey, if they get through. You could then have Trent Seven get involved to go, no. If I'm not getting this, you're not getting this. And then Tyler Bate's out, and you still have the 7 Bate match, which makes sense, and you've gone the other way. So there's a lot, as you say, could happen. So.
Yeah, and Tyler Bates, he was there last week. He just wanted to observe. Sid Scowls, like, stay away. And, Tyler Bates, as the good guy, the babyface, whatever, he'll show. He held that title. He knows the prestige that it has, and he'll stay away. That doesn't mean Trent Seven's going to stay away. Especially if he loses, right? If he gets rolled up, if Carter freaking rolls up his way all the way through this, that'd be awesome. All right, Gary, we're going to keep you here real quick. You're gonna hop off screen once I get the graphics situated because your guys are doing pretty well. We're gonna bring him back, John Smith. There you go, Gary. Down here, John. That's the way it's supposed to look. We're going to lay the smacketh down on your Rudy Poo candy ass right now, Garrett. And we're going to keep you on because the main event of SmackDown, the Intercontinental Championship, they're trying to do the same thing, or they're going to do the same thing. I think they're doing a great job of it already with the U.S. title, so they're going to keep it rolling. There was a video package for the Intercontinental Championship, as they did with the U.S. title, showing over 40-plus year history of the great champions. It was a great video. I want to do a count. I believe there have been 89, if not maybe Gunther's the 90th Intercontinental Champion of all time. Cole keeps on saying over a dozen. I think there's got to be more than 12 out of 90 in the Hall of Fame. I actually want to get that number because I'm willing to say there's at least 20 to 25. I mean, I know you have your your random champions. Like. Albert was a champion, and you have your random guys like that who kind of just didn't, fit wherever the time being it was. But Gary, then he just main event Gunther and Shinsuke Nakamura. They built it up. It set records and rating records for Friday Night SmackDown. Like I mentioned, John DeConnie. We talked about it last week. Why Impact wants to go near that with their pay-per-views going forward. Yeah. Is beyond me, but they don't need Roman Reigns to succeed because they have Gunther.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, I know the G1's going on in New Japan at the minute. It was like a G1 match. It was so hard hitting with a lot of kicks, chops, boots, slaps, you name it. But you had the story of it with Nakamura focusing on Gunther's left arm with the armbar, and they both traded German suplexes. Gunther hitting a normal one. And you had Nakamura hitting the sliding German suplex after he had caught Gunther with a knee to the face. But Gunther fighting back with a shotgun drop kick. And as Nakamura had valiantly fought and set him up eventually for the Kinshasa, you had Gunther clotheslining out of his boots for a 2 count, and then getting a shotgun drop kick to the back and the power bomb for the, now let me get this right, Was Zwa Dry, which I think is 1, 2, 3 in Austrian, probably pronounced wrong. But I checked, I Googled it while we were in the backstage before we started. And the thing with it is, what I did notice, like at the very end of the show, Roman Reigns isn't there, but the confidence that the company have in that it was just, this is Gunther, he's a man, so bring it on. And he was literally just standing there going, who's the daddy? At the end of it. So they really are putting a lot of their emphasis behind him.
They are. They want to put the emphasis behind him. They want to put the emphasis behind that championship. The crowd was out of control during that match. Like, they were completely into it the entire time. And I think one of the more important things out of all this, Gary, with the whole nonsense with Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser is over. That was, I didn't want to see that. No way. Just let Ludwig, I keep on saying Borga, but I know it's you think the Von Kaiser in me and the Nintendo from the 80s, but no, it's Ludwig Borga. Ludwig Kaiser, that's just stopped, thank God, and just let them just be them. And it's, over under John Smith, I know the over under is his title reign, Gunther's title reign. Like, this is going to be a while.
Yeah, I mean, it is the mid card title, so I think I don't think he'll be like a year and a half champ though. I think that eventually they'll just have him either drop it in a multi-man match or something just to keep him clean and then move him up to the main event, something like that.
Ricochet did a backstage interview. This is the exact quote. I'm more locked in now than I've ever been in a long time. It feels like I've been shot out of a cannon, and it feels good. Yep. He's excited. He's rejuvenated. I can't wait to see Ricochet, just an enthusiastic Ricochet, go forward. He wanted the winner of the Intercontinental Championship match. He might get that shot. Former champion, actually, Gunther's the one that beat him. But it looks like Baron Corbin, Happy Corbin, attacked him during that backstage interview. So looking like Ricochet might get sidetracked for the time being after crotching and making fun of Corbin in that interview as well from the week prior from their match. Backstage interview with Karrion Kross. We were exiled, disregarded, to be forgotten, but we didn't forget. We prepared to strike with vengeance. John Smith.
Oh my God, that was such a good promo. I love everything about this. This is
You're excited. Feel these nipples.
Exactly.
There was an in-ring promo with Drew McIntyre, some choice words with Karrion Kross. As he began a rant on Roman Reigns, Scarlett interrupted, came to ringside for the Usos to back jump Drew McIntyre and take him out. They had some choice words for Scarlett as well after the attack. So this whole triple threat three-way thing, Karrion Kross, Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, looks like it's getting forward. But then you got Sami Zayn mixed in all this. Now Sami once again trying to get to Roman Reigns, who wasn't there, was talking with the Usos, saying the Usos were right. Sami needs to step up, only for Drew McIntyre to return the favor, attack the Usos, and Sami ran. So Gary, Usos were pissed that Sami ran off. Sami's got no explanation. What he was saying, he was trying to get security or something. Like that. Sami completely bitched out, which is great. Sami's being Sami. But he told Drew McIntyre to meet him in the ring, find a partner, meet him in the ring. This is BS. Let's go. Yeah,
per Drew no mates. Obviously come out at first and there was nobody there. Now, he did start it on his own. And after Jay, I think it was, hit a super kick. There's music that hits and out comes I was going to say Riddick Moss. Sorry, I can't call him that anymore. Obviously, I have to call him still Madcap. Madcap Moss comes out, runs wild. They did cut him off, and eventually, after Sami Zayn tried to interfere and hit the ring, Drew, they hot tagged Drew back in. He hit another super kick, but eventually Drew hit the Glasgow Kiss on Jimmy. There was a super kick back from him, but however, Claymore, and this time we'll just go with 1, 2, 3 instead of whatever the Austrian was. And Big Drew takes it. And to be fair, from this week on SmackDown, and as you'll talk about, no doubt, on Raw coming up, it's safe to say again there's been like a renewed focus on Drew as well, and giving him a harder edge and making sure that come this Clash at the Castle that everybody knows he's a viable challenger.
Yeah, that's exactly right. There we go. Drew McIntyre, like I said, he was on Raw last night. We'll get to that, but this Friday he's going to come face to face with Roman Reigns. Like I said, Karrion Kross lurking in the background on SmackDown. And then, Drew was very, very fired up last night. I'm sure he's going to be just as fired up on this upcoming Friday. John Smith, some familiar music that we missed.
Yeah, there was a couple of inactions in the ring, and we weren't sure what's going on, and then hit row. What? Especially because Swerve is over somewhere else, and I did a little research. Apparently, these three have been together for a long time, like 4 years, and then Triple H added Swerve when they were going into NXT, finally calling him up. So, they're used to being a trio, and they didn't miss a beat at all. They came out. Inaction 1 never was able to make a tag to Inaction 2, who made one run in, but just for a move by Top Dollar. He set up one of them for a Samoan drop, caught the other one in a front slam, and then slammed them both down at the same time. Ended up with a obviously I don't know the names of like any moves. I'm always like, what is this called? But it was a Top Dollar picked him up for a side suplex. Adonis hit him with a drop kick, and they spun around and slammed him. 1, 2, 3, easy work on Inaction, and then we get a nice little promo from them afterwards, putting the whole tag team division on notice.
That's it. They reintroduced themselves because if you don't know,
now you know.
Now you know. Before the contract signing for the SmackDown Women's Championship at Clash at the Castle, a suspended Ronda Rousey came through the crowd into the ring with a bag of money. No, she's going to get fined for breaking her suspension. That was pretty funny. Security eventually came out as Ronda was leaving. Shayna approached her at the top of the ramp, telling her, with Ronda telling her Shayna saying, "This is not how you do things. This is not how you get how you want." Ronda replied, "You used to be a killer." Yes, it's the seed is officially been planted. There you go. Yes, very, very good. Shayna Baszler then continued to the ring to sign the contract for Clash at the Castle, mentioning that Liv has a really good-looking target on her, which the entire world thought to themselves, yes, she does. But Shayna was talking about her arm. Liv came out, arm still in a sling, called Shayna a bootleg Ronda Rousey, and since she beat Ronda twice, she can beat Shayna as well. Baszler attacked Liv's arm, got that stomp in that she does. She got that stomp in. Liz reversed a further attack by bulldogging Shayna through a table. So Liv fought back through. She's trying to fight through this arm injury, but I think it is exactly right here. I love Liv, and I'm going to be rooting for Liv, and I'm going to be picking Liv, and I'm going to be losing 3 points probably because going in to a match with your arm hurt with a Triple H version of Shayna Baszler. If this was a Vince McMahon Shayna Baszler, I would pick Liv. That would be an easy one, but this is a Triple H Shayna Baszler, and she's being unleashed. So, Angel and Humberto interrupted a Maximum Male Model photo shoot. They offered to be in Maximum Male Models when Max Dupree said no. Angel clarified that they weren't talking to him. They were talking to Maxine, and she looked a little smitten, as all women are, I'm assuming, when they go by Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo. So, see what happens on that. Kofi Kingston versus Ivar never happened, doing the Kofi Kingston growing a set of balls and attacking the Raiders on their during their entrance on their way down the ring with a kendo stick. Numbers game eventually caught up with the Viking Raiders. Eventually, they took down Kofi, ending with an Ivar splash from the guardrail onto Kofi onto the entrance ramp. That looked like it hurt. That looked like it's tough. They're going to be having a Viking funeral for the New Day this Friday on SmackDown. And on a side note, this past Sunday, the Viking Raiders actually hosted their annual preseason NFL game where the Raiders beat the Vikings 26-20. That's an American football joke, Gary. That's the one.
Okay.
It's an American football joke.
American football. Okay.
Their team's called the Viking Raiders, but there's two teams called the Vikings and the Raiders.
I see what you did there. Very clever.
Viking Funeral got that. All right, so now we're going to get to the Tag Team Championship Tournament. Here we are, the brackets that we had going in to last Friday night on SmackDown. Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah, they defeated Shotzi and Xia Li after a Tejana bomb on Xia Li to advance. There was a double team going in on Raquel. Aaliyah took out Xia Li for Raquel to hit the Tejana bomb. I'm sorry, she took out Shotzi for Raquel to hit the Tejana bomb on Xia Li for the win. So this Friday coming up, we have Team NXT, John Smith, Team NXT, Nikita Lyons, Zoe Stark going up against Natalya, I Spy, a Jersey Girl, and Sonya Deville.
Yeah, I think that Nikita and Zoe get the job done. Natalya has no problem looking at the lights, and then we'll get an all NXT semifinal with on the SmackDown side, right? I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. They're all NXT. I mean, Alexa Bliss is NXT. Asuka's the greatest. Yeah, this is
okay. Like most recent NXT. Come on. All right.
The only one that's not NXT is Tamina on this whole list, I think. And Natalya. Well, even Natalya's competed, but she wasn't. Anyway, Gary.
I think if I was talking my way through this, I think when we did this originally, I picked Natty and Sonya Deville. And actually, as I was typing up my stuff for Heatwave, when I was doing it and talking about Zoe Stark and what I thought was going to happen, I actually sat and thought, if what I think happens, I think that her and Nikita Lyons actually will get it done. So I think my whole prediction is going to be wrong. And I'm going to go with John Smith and say, yeah, I actually do think that they will give Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark a win.
All right, John DeConnie. Natalya's been in NXT recently. She won her feud with Cora Jade. She was successful down in NXT. We have I'm not picking against Sonya Deville and Natalya. I mean, this is a nice spot for Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark to get their name in. But now I guess Zoe Stark again and Raquel Rodriguez in the next round. That'd be a tough matchup that we don't think we got to see. When Raquel was still in NXT, but what are you thinking here?
Yeah, right now I'm saying we're getting Triple H pushing Shayna, and for now I'm happy with that because I think eventually Sonya is going to become a killer too, but I don't see any reason to believe it's getting ready to happen now, and I'm thinking maybe you don't put these active NXT girls in the tournament just to beat them in the first round. I don't expect them to go deep, but I think they get through the first round. It wouldn't surprise me. I want Sonya to be that killer that she can be, but I think there's still time to get her there. I think the NXT girls get it done in round one.
Wow, I'm on the island on this one, huh? I got them going to the finals, actually. Yeah. Gary, we're going to let you go in 1 second. We're just going to make the seamless transition from SmackDown to Raw because we're going to stay with the Women's Tag Team Championship Tournament. Once I get the green, we got red, Raw, and there you go, Gary. You got your red name. There we go. Because we're going to stay with the Tag Team Championship Tournament. Asuka and Alexa Bliss last night, they started the show. They defeated Nikki Ash, Team Scotland. Good showing by those two.
Yeah.
Nikki Ash and Doudrop after an Asuka lock on Doudrop, while Alexa Bliss knocked out Nikki Ash with a knockout punch in the back. Former tag team champions together, Nikki Ash and Alexa Bliss, they went at it. That was fun last night. Bayley, Kai, and Sky met with Asuka and Alexa Bliss and Bianca, who was in their corner at the top of the ramp when they were leaving. So later on in the night, Dakota Kai defeated Dana Brooke with her running kick. But so this is the actual tournament updated. What am I going the wrong way? The actual brackets right now with the winners. So not only do we have the Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark on Friday versus Natalya and Sonya Deville, On Monday next week, we're going to have the first semi-final match, the Raw semi-final match, the Raw finals to get to the overall finals. Alexa Bliss, Asuka against Kai and Sky. Gar, this is tough. I had no idea.
Yeah, I'm still going to go Io Sky and Dakota Kai because I do think that's where the big emphasis is at the minute. Although they could do it the other way and say, yeah, we know there's so much emphasis behind them, and they've got their trios match coming up at Clash at the Castle that you could have them lose, but I'm still going to say Kai and Sky will win it. So.
Yeah, that's a big point. Like, I don't want to say you can't assume that the winner of this match is going to win the whole thing, John DeConnie, but there's a possibility of that. And then you have the women's tag team championships represented in that 6-woman tag at the Clash.
Yeah, quite frankly, I can't believe this isn't the final because this seems like it would make the most sense there. I'm going to say that Kai and Sky get it done because you just brought Bayley back. She's kind of the mentor for these two. It makes perfect sense for them to move on. And you usually get the dirty heels usually get the first win anyway. So if they're going to get their comeuppance at Clash at the Castle, let the heels win here.
I don't know if I would call Dakota Kai and Io dirty, John Smith. I crunched the numbers real quick just because I was intrigued with the team of Alexa Bliss and Asuka. 13 championships between the two of them. And I want to say Sky and Kai have 3, and they're all NXT.
Yeah, well, who were the first ever NXT tag team champions? Dakota Kai and Raquel.
Yep.
And that's what this whole tournament's about, the two of them meeting in the finals.
Wow.
So we got Io and Dakota winning this one, and then obviously I think Raquel and Aaliyah are going to move on to the finals, even though we're not picking that.
All right, so I'm on an eye on in this match too because I'm going to go Alexa Bliss and Asuka. How?
Oh wow.
The Bayley factor.
Yeah, but they have Bianca. Bianca's going to cancel that out, and then what's going to happen is in the finals, it's going to be a Bliss and Asuka versus Sonya Deville and Natalya, and they're going to screw Bliss and Asuka out of the finals, and that's how Sonya Deville joins our New Jersey Champions list.
Ow! So you're just doing a Homer thing. Okay.
I don't know if I'm not betting against Alexa Bliss and Asuka. No way. That's a tough team. Gary, thank you so much for joining us late this evening. We appreciate you. Anything before we get out of here? Oh, your Heat Wave. Who do you got Heat Wave? I know you got for Heat Wave. Speaking of Homer picks, who do you got in the main event tonight, Gary?
It was so hard. I know. I was such a struggle. Yeah, as I said when I wrote the article, it was like Fergal Sharkey eventually said a good heart these days is hard to find, and I had to go. I was head over heart, and I went with Gone with my heart, and JD's going to take the title. So I'd say I've got JD winning. I've got Santos Escobar getting kicked out of NXT.
Wow.
It's all come full circle. I think they're just doing it just to prolong this, John. I think somebody in WWE have seen it when I know where the money is. It's in Gary and John talking about Santos and JD. Let's keep it going.
Gary, thanks so much for joining us tonight, pal. We will see you next week to talk more UK tournament action.
Yeah.
And potentially, I say we're going to be leading the show off with Heat Wave, but we got a new champion. Plan on being on for that.
Have a good one. See you later.
Have a good night, Gary.
See you, Gary.
All right, so that we're going to continue on. John Smith, we had, like I said, another United States Championship match, bringing the prestige back, and Bobby Lashley and another barn burner.
And they
advertised to do all this.
They advertised this as a first time ever match, and I couldn't believe that these two never crossed paths in Impact. And then I Googled it. I couldn't find any match where these two ever faced off. So, maybe they've been up across from each other in like a tag match at some point in the past few years, but we've never seen a one-on-one AJ versus Bobby, which I think would be like a dream match for like if you made your all-time Impact card, you know?
Yeah. I think Styles might have been gone when Lashley was there because that was probably around 14, 15, 16, and Styles might have been in Japan.
They just missed each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one did not disappoint. I mean, they were inside the ring, outside the ring, everywhere. You know, it was a nice, clean match. Nobody, you know, ended up trying to poke each other's eyes or anything like that. You know, at one point, AJ hit this nice flying knee where from the floor up to the ring apron while Bobby was standing on the outside. It was so fluid. I can't say enough good things about AJ. It's like, you know, the same way I feel about Speedball, but times 10, you know. And, you know, at the end, he couldn't get it done. He went for the flying forearm over the phenomenal forearm off the top rope. Bobby ran underneath it. They were on an opposite, and then spear 1, 2, 3. At one point, he put the hurt lock on AJ, but AJ, they were on the ground, and AJ turned it into a raw roll up and almost got the victory.
Yeah, that would have been big.
Yeah, and spear victory. I like not seeing AJ tap.
Yeah. And then they actually, the Miz and Ciampa got somewhat a little bit involved in that, and so did Dexter Lumis, who they did name. Eventually, you know, Graves kind of put the squadoosh on. Like, don't bring it up. You know, they're still trying to play off that he doesn't work there. But the cameras was on him a little bit too much to kind of, you know, last week was one thing. It was kind of off in the distance, but when I saw when they announced this on Monday, it was like Styles. I'm like, oh, I think Dexter Lumis is gunning for Styles. I think that's what we're going to be getting, and I think John Smith, the winner, is going to be you on that one.
Yeah,
that's going to be good. But there was a backstage interview earlier in the night. The backstage interview with Miz and Ciampa. Miz blames AJ Styles for Ciampa not being United States champion. But as a reward for Ciampa's hard work, Miz made playing card necklaces with Ciampa and Miz on together. They made matching ones. Miz made one for himself too. So I am loving the fact that these two are actually getting along, and Miz isn't being an idiot and screwing it up. So
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But Miz and Ciampa, they had a match. That was before their match, John DeConnie. Fun team that they.
Yes.
I believe this was the finals of the Cruiserweight tournament at WrestleMania 34, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so someone wandered into catering and went, very talented, very talented. You come here. We've got something for you to do tonight. Miz and Ciampa took on Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander. And you know,
hold on. It's like Hunter called Mustafa Ali. Hey, do you want to come back? I can get you back. Dude, I'm in catering. I'm still here.
Still here, bro.
All right, come over. You survived all this?
So it was pretty obvious where this was going, unless AJ was going to interfere. Miz and Ciampa were going to win. That's not going to be a surprise. But what you got here was two guys that we haven't seen a lot of in Ali and Alexander, and you got a 9.5-minute match. So they got to show off just how good they are.
Yeah.
And, you know, Miz didn't, you know, drag Ciampa down too badly, so it was a good match back. I'm sorry.
John Connie, thanks for joining us this week. Why is it the first time I'm going to kick you off the show? What the hell was that?
What the? Hey! So anyway, so we get about 9.5 minutes. Ali misses the fact that Ciampa has made a blind tag. Ali drops Miz. He goes for the 450 splash. I don't know how. I guess it would happen during the super kick that set up the 450. Miz wound up with a little blood in his mouth. I don't know how the hell Ali didn't wind up with blood in his mouth. Because as he came down for a 450 splash, he met a running knee from Ciampa. He got blasted. Then Ciampa picked him up for the fairy tale ending in the 1, 2, 3, and Miz and Ciampa get the W.
See, I have it the other way around in my notes. I'm like, you know, congratulations for Cedric and Mustafa being able to keep up with the Miz. Like I have it the other way around.
Of course.
And apparently, I guess it was still a thing, and I didn't realize on the main event. Apparently, there was a huge feud on the main event between, I guess, Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin finally broke up. I didn't realize that was still going on.
It's still a thing, huh?
Okay. I mean, why is he Shelton still there? Again, why not keep them together? Get the Hurt Business back together. Theory is back, telling us all again who he is. I'm the youngest this, the youngest that, whatever. Interrupted by Dolph Ziggler, they had some words. Theory fired back hard, saying Ziggler hasn't done anything since being world champion way back when, which prompted Ziggler to headbutt Theory, and they brawled all around the back. And John Smith, this was your main event. How about Theory getting a huge push here?
Yeah, especially with a U.S. title on the line, especially it being Bobby and AJ, and then having to follow that.
Yeah,
I don't know. They should have put Bobby and AJ earlier in the match, earlier in the card, because they were back to back. But I mean, this was a good match. Dolph came out, like a ball of fire right away. Right before the commercial break, he hit an X Factor off the top rope, and then right back from commercial, he hit the Famouser. So it was shout out to DX in the middle of this match, but definitely wasn't enough because Austin Theory, after trying to put his feet on the ropes, later in the match, ends up winning clean after reversing a zigzag, and then Dolph went for a Famouser again, but he picked him up into a power bomb, but then turned it into the A-Town down. And then we got the 1-2-3 off of that, and I don't understand why this was the main event. I was expecting a run-in after or some sort of crazy backstage, like, oh my God, we'll see what happens next week as they trail off. It was nothing. It was just Austin Theory celebrating his first win in a while, it seems. If he hasn't won lately. I don't think
he hasn't won lately. He's been off TV for 2 weeks too for he had a passing in his family, so they gave him a couple of weeks off. Last week was his first week back. This is what I heard on the internet. Who knows if it's true? Unfortunately, it probably is. But Theory, big win for Theory. I guess he's just not Vinnie Mac's boy, huh? I guess Hunter believes him as well to give him that spot. Getting a clean win over Ziggler. Huh.
This is the way.
Drew McIntyre was on Raw. He came over from SmackDown. He did an in-ring promo, again taking shots at Roman Reigns for not showing up to work. Drew looking for a potential opponent for when he becomes champion. That is a little ballsy. I was ballsy, egotistical. That's something like Theory would do. I didn't expect that out of McIntyre, but that's what he was doing. Here comes Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens is fired up, and he's like, "Yeah, and remind you just who in the hell I am." And then he got McIntyre fired up, and McIntyre used the word wrestling, and I know that was big in the internet. Go nuts today! Oh my God, McIntyre's in wrestling. But so they went at it, and John Connie, holy crap! This was awesome.
More importantly, Kevin Owens reminded us that it's been 5 years since he has held the title, and enough is enough, and it's time for a change. Yes. So these two went at it and beat the holy hell out of each other. This has become Drew's specialty. I mean, he carried this company on his back for a good portion of the pandemic era, and he deserves every bit of acknowledgement he gets because he has put on some of the most amazing big man, just violence for the sake of violence matches we have seen over the past 2 years. And, Owens isn't 6'6", but this was another that he's a heavy hitter, and these two beat the hell out of each other for almost 15 minutes, and it ended the right way because you're sure as hell not going to beat McIntyre going into the castle. And if we're supposed to respect Kevin Owens again, and he's not just there to make everybody laugh and then eat a pin, he needed to not eat a pin here, even though it was against Drew. And right around the 15-minute mark, the Usos came out and grabbed Drew's legs, and it caused a DQ. And he fights the Usos. McIntyre fights the Usos off. KO gets in a stunner, so he gets to hit his finisher, even though it doesn't lead to a pinfall. He takes off, and on his way out, he tells the Usos, "You tell the boss man he now owes me one," because he, just put Drew in La La Land. Then the Usos decide to try and go back at Drew, and they weren't quite as lucky. Well, one ate a Glasgow Kiss, the other ate a Claymore, and as that segment ended, Drew told them, "Tell your boy I'll see him on SmackDown."
Yeah, they have the face-to-face coming up, as we mentioned earlier, on SmackDown coming up this Friday. Seth Rollins joined us in the ring to listen to what Riddle had to say. Riddle's announcement was that he's medically cleared and he's coming after Rollins, in which Rollins welcomes, because Rollins always comes out on top during these things. So Riddle granted his wish. He was actually in the building, not in his mother's basement, as Rollins assumed. So Riddle ran out for attack, ended up chasing Rollins into the crowd, and they're going to get at it. It is official at Clash of the Champions. We're going to get the match that we should have got at SummerSlam. Going back to Kevin Owens, Ezekiel's family comforting him in the hospital. John Smith and I are on this Facebook page, and they love Ezekiel, and they thought after last week they were in an uproar. These people, that Ezekiel was going to die and it was over, and now they're realizing that no, he's not dead. We're going to expand his family. And I didn't get a picture of it. It's all over. I think the one guy I think that's Elrod, right? The guy with the mustache and the blue. That has to be Elrod, right? His mom was there. His dad was there.
More importantly, obviously dad. Yeah.
I gotta wonder though. Mom looks exactly like Dad, and is that like a little like brother sister thing?
This theme song is going to be dueling banjos going forward.
Veer Mahan was back. He defeated In Action with a cervical clutch. Really stretched that cervix. Good to see Veer Mahan back on TV.
Can we get rid of this game now?
What's that?
You know, like it almost feels like that's 100% a Vince thing. We're going to call this a cervical clutch. You know, they keep doing the thing. Well, he's got the $1 million arm because he played minor league ball or whatever. Call it the $1 million stretch. You know, stop. The cervical stretch is the dumbest name. As much as it leads to us making that joke every time, and I love that, it's the dumbest thing when we hear it on television. And it's not like Mahan couldn't use a mouthpiece. Hell, bring Ted back. Let him talk for the guy.
Yeah, Ted DiBiase with Veer Mahan, that'd be awesome. He was hitting hard in that match. I didn't realize. I guess maybe I didn't see, or he wasn't showcased in these before. Like, he was fast, he was athletic, he was agile, and he was hitting hard. Like that leaping splash that he did. He opened my eyes. I kind of scoff at him and make the jokes and whatnot. He opened my eyes on last time, even though it was an in-action match. He did his job.
That big man can move.
There was an in-ring promo with the Judgment Day at the beginning of the show saying the Mysterios weren't in attendance on Raw. Damian Priest said the same thing about Edge, and Priest is going to go it alone next week against Edge. We're going to get to that in a second. Rey Mysterio was there, though. He attacked the Judgment Day from behind, had a little bit of an advantage swinging the chair, eventually got caught and dropped, culminating with a coup de grace onto a chair onto Rey. So Rey got smushed in between a steel chair and the canvas. So it looks like that's Rey might be out for a couple of weeks on that one. But the big match coming up next Monday night in Toronto. Edge is holding town. I guess the first time in 11 years, Edge is going to wrestle in his home crowd in Toronto. Edge has had success there in the past. I do believe the two matches that stick out in my head. One was at WrestleMania in Toronto. I do believe he had a big feud with Booker T over a shampoo commercial over in Japan, where Edge got the win on that one. That was in Toronto. And then I believe there was not as much talked about SummerSlam triple threat match in Toronto, where Edge won the Intercontinental Championship. I believe he successfully defended it against Chris Jericho and Batista. Maybe Jericho was IC. I don't know, but that was in Toronto. I think Jericho was getting most of the cheers on that, though. Anyway, Edge has had success in Toronto. He's home. And Damian Priest, John Smith said he's going to go alone. He's going to leave Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley in the back. He wants to do this one-on-one.
I think he's lying.
Yes.
Well, I mean, he'll come out alone, but I don't think he'll be alone by the end of the match. In the end of the match, he'll probably be a disqualification because the three of them will be bleep stomping the crap out of Edge.
That's what, here's the Terry Crews commercial. Oh, just moisturize. That's what it does. Yeah. Well, the heel's gonna cheat. That's what they do. Johnny Connie, rumors running rampant. It was official that she's going to be in the area. She's going to be doing some promotional stuff. But if Rhea Ripley does decide to get involved, which she has been, Trish Stratus from Toronto is in the area. She's doing some promotional stuff. She is under contract, under the Legends contract. Does Trish Stratus show up and get involved and help her countrymen, her fellow countrymen? I got some Toronto people.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes, that is what I want to see, please. Yes. Yeah, because of that, I think Edge will. Like John said, it's probably going to be a DQ win, but if we were picking this for points, give me Edge.
I get Edge with a spear and a win.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, spear and a win, whatever. Just Damian Priest. He's gonna go. He wants to go Heath on him anyway, right? He wants to take him out one by one. So let's see what happens. All right, so that will do it for WWE Monday Night Raw. Like I said, we wanted to get Gary, big Intercontinental Championship match. We wanted to get Gary on because that's this guy. Gary's he's 6 hours ahead. It's very late night over there, but we actually had a big AEW event, Quake by the Lake, last Wednesday night, and we had a big championship match. John DeConnie, we got it right. We're a little bit off on our theories as to who, what, where, when, and why. And I know I mentioned that, we can just run this back with the Painmaker at All Out, but that doesn't look like that's going to happen.
No, turns out we don't need to buffer what's going on at the top of the card there at AEW for much longer. So yeah, we had Mox versus Chris Jericho, the Lionheart Chris Jericho, and first thing he does is rip Moxley's earring out, so Moxley is bleeding within the first 20 seconds of the match.
I think Brody King still had that beat though. That's
a good point. Jericho removes.
What took you so long?
Jericho removes the turnbuckle pad, but that was pretty much just to get the referee to go over and tend to it. Sammy Guevara tosses Floyd in from about 3 rows deep in the crowd and almost completely misses the ring. So the referee has to pretend like there's a lot more going wrong so that Jericho can leave the ring, get the bat, come back in, pop Mox in the face with it. He only gets a 2 count out of it, so it doesn't really much matter. Eventually, Mox goes into the exposed turnbuckle, so now he can bleed from the front of his face and wear the proper crimson mask. And as he bounces out of the corner, Jericho hits the Judas effect. And for a half a second there, you think he just went face first into the ring buckle and he got a Judas effect. We could get a 3 count here. Of course, we did not.
No.
So Jericho grabs the belt. Mox avoids that, sends Jericho into the buckle now. Now Jericho's bleeding like a stuck pig. Jericho works his way out of the Bulldog choke. He transitions into the Lion Tamer, the proper Lion Tamer, not the Walls of Jericho. He's bleeding all over the place. Mox sinks in an RNC. He traps Jericho's arms in a figure 4 around the body, and the Lionheart has nothing left to do but tap with his one free arm. After that, Sammy Hager and Jake Hager. You know how hard I've tried never to make that mistake?
Yeah, well, they're a tag team, right? Isn't that their tag team, Sammy Hager?
Jake Hager and Sammy Guevara attack Mox. That brings out Claudio and Yuta and Kingston and Ortiz, which brings out Garcia and Parker and Menard. The Jericho Appreciation Society has the advantage. They're putting the boots to Mox and company. And then Cult of Personality hits. CM Punk makes his return. He helps clear the ring, and then he's left there face-to-face with Mox. They have their Rock and Hulk Hogan WrestleMania 18 moment where they look at each other and they look at the crowd, and then Mox flips off Punk, rolls out, and Punk ends the night playing to the crowd.
Yeah, I think this is the first time. I have in my notes. Okay, so we got post-match attack by Swagger Guevara, thwarted by Claudio Ortiz and Kingston, re-thwarted by 2.0 and Garcia, then re-thwart. We have a re-thwart by CM Punk. That is the first. Even AEW is that. That's the first for AEW.
That is
so it looks like we're running. We're gonna Punk back way ahead of schedule. From what I heard, the original prognosis was it. I guess that's how rumors get started. But I guess he's ready to go for All Out, and we're gonna put this interim thing to rest, and we'll see what happens there. Real quick, John DeConnie, they keep on saying Chris Jericho during this as the Lionheart, the last survivor of the Heart Dungeon.
I know.
I don't get it. I have three. I have Natalia, Tyson Kidd, and Davey Jr. Like I did not like. Like, are they saying that like obviously I don't know if Stu personally trained those three because he was so much older, but like it's still the Hart Dungeons, right?
Stu
Like,
didn't train Jericho.
No.
huh.
So yeah, I don't know why they keep. I mean, at the very least, all right. Davey Boy Jr.'s not wrestling in one of the bigger companies right now. Tyson's back in a backstage role. At the very least, this is a slap in the face to Natalia, and I don't know why they would do that because there's no point to it. There's no reason for it.
Stu was alive. Just slapped. Show some discipline. Just slapped Shivani right in the face. I would love that. Show some discipline.
I would love that as well.
John Smith. The show opened with a coffin match. Coffin match, and I don't know who did Brody King's makeup, but talk about a complete waste of time.
Right? And
Like,
okay,
bastard who spent all that time putting on all that face paint for him. If he didn't do it himself. Done.
yeah, so we start the match and Darby pulls out a skateboard right away that's got the thumbtacks on it and nails him in the stomach and the back, gets him down and just rakes it across his forehead. So we got a full face of blood within 30 seconds. And I just wonder, isn't that supposed to be built up to? You know, like you pull out the sharp object and then it doesn't get used. And then, the other guy gets a hold of it and it doesn't get used. And then eventually somebody's like a stuck pig. But, they decided to forego all of that and just start bleeding everywhere.
Well, at least the nails on the skateboard are a lot smaller than what they used to be, thank God. Remember, I forget whose back he raked when he tried to do a bomb drop onto someone's back with that, and he just crushed
it was more like a bed of nails.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got plenty of extreme stuff going on here. Brody King went for the splash off the top rope to the outside through a table. Miss Darby hit the table. Then we get Alistair, 5 push-ups, right? Malachi Black and Buddy come out and start helping him out. He set up Darby against the ring post on the inside of the ring, and he hits the somersault slam through the table. Then they go out to get the coffin, excuse me. And somehow Sting is in there, even though he wasn't there when the casket was open at the beginning of the match. So, yeah, I guess when the lights went out, when the rest of them came out, he climbed in there.
Why ruin the fun?
I remember wondering how the hell you could see Undertaker's face inside the casket after he lost to Yokozuna at Royal Rumble 94. I was like, how the hell do they have a camera on him if he's dead right now in the casket? Anyway.
Yeah, right.
So Sting
I know what you're talking about. Never mind. I forgot about that.
Sting clears the ring of the rest of them. He throws the bat to Malachi Black, who decides to just walk away and not use it on him. Match continues. Brody King brings Darby up to the apron, carries him up there to try to slam him into the coffin from up there. Darby ends up inside the ring, puts a chain around Brody King's neck, hangs him there for a while until he lets go, and Brody King just happens to flop 2 steps and fall exactly sideways into the coffin. It was like it was drawn by Family Guy. But we get Darby winning yet another match. I don't know why they like him so much.
Yeah, Darby gets the win. They said House of Black, he said, got involved. Sting got involved. No sign of Miro, so I guess he's still as confused as I am. But then later in the night, Miro's going to try to take out the House of Black. So, good. He's made a decision going forward. I like this Miro and Malachi Black. I like that match. All out, that'd be absolutely perfect. Love it. I think that kind of sacrifices the trios tournament for House of Black, but you know what? It's fine. Whatever. Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and Satnam Singh in-ring promo, talking a lot of trash about Satnam chokeslamming Wardlow. Battle of the Belts 3. Lethal wants a rematch. Wardlow said sure, but he's going to whip their asses now. FTR joined them, so Lethal and company bounced kind of. Lethal tried to sneak attack. Took a big rig for his efforts. So potential 6-man match coming up at some point. A lot of titles in that picture as well. Luchasaurus defeated Anthony Henry, or I guess in this case, in action. He Luchasaurus in action. So Anthony Henry's been demoted. With a fossilizer, I think that's what Jungle Boy called it, right? It was a fossilizer.
Yeah, I think so.
Christian appeared on the Titantron, which prompted Jungle Boy to run to the back and attack him. He was doing commentary. Ricky Starks defeated Aaron Solo after a spear post-match attack by Camarado, and the Factory failed as Ricky Starks got away. So Factory still being Factory. At least they're on TV, though. I guess there's baby steps here. They're on TV. Then they got to get the heel tactics right after that. Stokely Hathaway traded recruiting Colton and Austin Gunn, and Billy told him to take a hike. Billy's got his kids a match on Rampage to rebound from the match, from the dumpster, the loss at the dumpster match. But I don't know if they win that. Did I do that? That leaks into Monday. Actually, it leaks into tomorrow as well. We'll get to that. A lot of recruiting going on. The Trustbusters tried recruiting Orange Cassidy. Cassidy said no. They'll eventually get at it in the trios tournament. We'll get to that. Young Bucks, this was awesome. I officially like Hangman Page. Young Bucks went in to the Hangman Page, hanging out in the Dark Order's locker room. They thanked Page for the thwart on the attack the week prior. The Bucks apologized for everything in the past. The Bucks proposed to get Adam Page on their team in the Trios tournament because they are former Ring of Honor six-man tag team champions. They are the Hung Bucks. Page said no. These are the guys, he pointed to the Dark Order, these are the guys that supported me and had my back when I was going for the world title and when I was world champion. I'm not going to enter the tournament. I'm going to be in these guys' corner. So shout out. Hangman Page did the right thing. Very good. Good job.
That was a painful promo by the Bucks beforehand, though.
It was. Oh, that was torturous. That was bad. And I would have just been angry at Hangman Page. It was like, all right, yeah, that sounds great. All right, Dark Order, see you later. You know, like, good. Just because the cool kids want you doesn't mean you forget your own friends. All right, so where are we? Andrade and Roosh defeated the Lucha after Penta gave John Connie. Again, Penta got his mask taken off, and that's how they lose every single freaking week.
Yeah, this time he did it to himself.
This time he did it to himself, so they changed it up a little bit. It must have been one hell of a knot on that rope. The kid was a Boy Scout, whoever tied that thing. Penta got unmasked again, leaving Phoenix to eat the bullhorns, and then an Andrade DDT. So we're going to get to them in a second because they're going to be in the Trios tournament. Jade Cargill, John Connie. I'm talking a lot right now. Get this match so I can get some water going. We'll go over the standings, then get into next week in some brackets.
Absolutely. Yes, Jade took on Madison Rain, the new employee, the new coach, from what we understand. And I took a little shot at her last week, not directly at her. I think it was more of her dance partner. Her first match in AEW was a little bit sloppy. Well, I had hoped, and I think we got probably the best Jade match we've ever seen. It was, it wasn't 5 stars. It wasn't, it didn't take place in Japan, so it wasn't 6 stars. But we got a really good Jade Cargill match with Madison Rain. They went almost 8 minutes. Jade reversed out of Cross Reigns. And, of course, we end with Jaded for the 1-2-3. Jade goes on to 36-0. She's still your undefeated TBS champion. And Athena appeared in the ring out of nowhere. But Kiera Hogan would yank Jade out to safety. We obviously know where this is headed. And now that Chris Statlander's not around, it's not going to be a tag match. They got to go right to one-on-one. But eventually we're going to get Athena and Jade for that TBS championship.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen. I would put that in all out. That'd be good. And Jade, I think, is in trouble. I'm not going to pick her to lose, but I think she's in trouble. Also on Rampage, that was not Quake by the Lake related. Sammy Guevara, Ty Conti, or I'm sorry, Ty Mello, right? Name change.
Whatever.
I guess did she take Sammy's last name? So is it Sammy Mello? Is that his real last name?
I had to look it up because that's exactly what I thought. Apparently, that's her middle name.
Sammy Mello. Or is he going to take her name? He's like a type of schmuck that would take her name. They apparently have AAA mixed tag team championships, which apparently Sammy and Ty are. They defeated Dante Martin and Sky Blue to retain the mixed tag team championships. So here are the results we have. We got some perfect pay-per-views finally. Myself, Beavis, Brian Roy, nailing it. John DeConnie 4-1, Gary Mehaffy 4-1, John Smith 4-1. So that finally puts me and Beavis on the board. John Smith went perfect in an AEW show a couple of weeks ago. Brian Royce is absolutely killing all those extra points that he's been getting. That's why he is going to be in the lead going forward. We'll get to the overall standings once we get to NXT and we make our picks. So go to AEW's upcoming card, AEW Dynamite this Wednesday night. First, as a recap, Parker Bordeaux, formerly known as Harland Boudreaux. Is it Boudreaux? Because I'm getting that confused because of Scarlett. So it's Parker Boudreaux, right?
Yeah.
Boudreaux? Not
right.
Bordeaux. That's Scarlett Bordeaux, Parker Boudreaux.
The smoke show, Parker Bordeaux.
Yes. He defeated Sonny Kiss, dusting off Sonny Kiss here quickly after a backpack power slam. And that leads into, I guess, another match from Rampage, because Orange Cassidy later that night, he defeated Ari Daivari and the Trustbusters after an orange punch. Post-match attack by the Trustbusters, thwarted by Sonny Kiss. And I guess now Sonny Kiss, Swerve, best friend, whatever, he's joining the Trustbusters here. And that's leading into, I guess, the Trios Tag Team Championship Tournament. Because on Rampage this Friday night, we're going to have some first-round action. Let me get the brackets there. Brackets, there we go. The Trustbusters are going to be going up against Best Friends. So it's going to be Ari Daivari, it's going to be Slim J, and it's going to be Parker Boudreaux. I don't know where the emphasis on the syllable goes on that one. Because I didn't watch Rampage. Going up against Chucky T, Trent, and Orange Cassidy, John DeConnie. Who do you got winning this first round matchup?
Oh man, yeah. Now with Sonny Kiss in the corner of the Trust, but like I looked at that bracket originally and went, "Who the hell are these guys, and why would I care?" Now they did a decent job there of building some heat between them, and now is Sonny Kiss going to be the difference? I'm still going to go with the Best Friends, but I'm not sure what they're doing here. Maybe the Trustbusters move on, but if we were picking it for points, I'd go with Best Friends.
John Smith.
Yeah, the Best Friends are, they're originals. They're AEW originals. It would be a shame for them to lose in the first round of the first Trios tournament.
Parker Boudreaux, that's tough out. I guess Slim J's. The Trustbusters are new. I had to look. It took me forever to find out who they were, trying to get them on my site for the pre-show at the Ring of Honor show, whatever the buy-in was for that or whatever it was called. But yeah, they're new. It looks like they're sticking around. They're adding members. Like I said, Ari Daivari tried to recruit Orange Cassidy. Got Sonny Kiss instead. Glad for I Spy a Jersey guy. Thank God he's doing something. Kind of forgot. I thought he was released. I don't know. Marco Stunt. He disappeared with Marco Stunt somewhere, or Joey Janela. Who the hell knows where he's been? But glad to have him back. Glad to see him on TV. And then on the other side of the bracket, that's going to be tomorrow night on Dynamite. Andrade El Idolo, Dragon Lee, and Roosh Lee going up against the Young Bucks and whoever they're going to name their partner to be. John Smith.
I don't know. I think the story here is the Young Bucks aren't going to be able to find a partner. I don't know. If they do, I don't know who the heck it's gonna. It's gonna just be their cameraman, Cutler, right?
It's gonna end up. Cutler wants it. Like he's itching. He would hop on that apron and click. But I guess the rumor.
And I see him being the one that takes the fall there. So
is Kenny Omega ready to come back, Johnny? That's what everyone's leaning towards right now. Now that Hangman Page said no, the Bucks only have one friend left. That's not Brandon Cutler.
Exactly. As soon as Hangman said no, I said, "Oh, okay." Like I thought that was the story they were going with, and then when Hangman said no, and I love the fact that he did, that tells me that unless there's somebody else in the old Bullet Club that I'm not thinking of, which could be because I don't know a lot about that era of New Japan, but if it's not Kenny, then it's going to be a letdown. And they'll probably be out because, Andrade and Ruth. But I'm going to say it's going to be Kenny, and we're going to get them moving on.
Yeah, if this is going to be in the main, if this is the main event, and just by the list of matches, I guess it probably the 2 out of 3 falls will be the main event. So I don't know if they just lead off with this. They have to hit some type of panic button right now, and not really a panic button, but like WWE is out AEWing AEW right now with all these debuts and all these we got a new guy every single week. Here's our shiny new toy. That's everything that AEW did way back when that everyone calls it. Now Hunter's doing it, and now I think you got to do something to counteract that. If Kenny's ready, get Kenny Omega back here, and
they don't have Brock Lesnar. They don't have Brock Lesnar to break the glass on every time there's an issue. So they got to go to the cleaner.
Yeah, but it's just I don't like betting again on Andrade. That's against Andrade.
Maybe it's Brock Lesnar.
It could be Brock Lesnar.
Maybe it's Eva Marie.
No.
Maybe it's CM. Never mind.
CM Punk, right? Oh my God! It can't be CM Punk now. Damn it! I guess it could be. Going back to Andrade, he instructed Private Party to go get the AEW tag team titles. Swerve and Keith Lee don't have any challengers at the moment, so they accepted the challenge. That match will happen on Rampage. John DeConnie, are they going to do a title change on Rampage?
I do not believe so. And there seems to be an issue between the Andrade family, whatever they are. Like, Private Party didn't like the way Andrade was talking to them when he was demanding they go get those titles too. So I see there being an issue there. So I'm going to say that Swerve and Our Glory retain.
John Smith, there was an interview with Hook. He'll defend the FTW championship in an open challenge every week. This week is going to be Zach Clayton.
Exactly.
Yeah. In action, I don't know.
Apparently, he's a Jersey guy.
Does he really?
So we're doing we're doing an over under on time here, right? We're not picking who wins. I'll go a minute and 15.
John DeConnie, you put in your notes or something like, is this an internet guy or is this just an inaction?
Well, they called him a reality TV, and I put the question mark in there. Star? Yeah. I just apparently he's some kind of he might even be a Jersey Shore like secondary or tertiary character. So I don't know, but he's a Jersey guy and he's a reality TV guy. He's built. I mean, he probably in a real fight could beat the hell out of 125 pounds of Hook, but not in an AEW ring. He sure as hell isn't.
As I mentioned earlier, Billy Gunn set up a match for the Gun Club on Rampage. It was against Beardhausen, against Danhausen and Eric Redbeard. Billy wasn't happy with that effort either, although it was a win. Stokely Hathaway appeared again, tried to recruit Colton and Austin, but they declined. They got the Varsity Blondes on Wednesday night, John DeConnie.
I'm enjoying. Sorry, I'm enjoying Billy not being pleased with his sons even when they win, and saying this is why I missed the Acclaimed and whatnot. So why not have them lose again to the Varsity Blondes here, and continue to be that much more entertaining.
All right, John Smith, as I mentioned earlier, Chris Statlander is out with injury, so Tony Storm moves up to the number one contender spot. So Tony and Thunder, they chatted about it in a backstage interview with Shivani. They'll discuss it later after Tony Storm's match with Kylan King tomorrow night. I spy a Beavis girl, Travis's girl right here, right? Kylan King, watch out for that conversation tonight, John DeConnie. He's going to be all over the place with that one. That's his girl.
Yeah, he loves her, yep.
Yep, John Smith, Tony Storm's got to get this done, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so Bryan Danielson versus Danny Garcia. Daniel Garcia, 2 out of 3 falls after Garcia again poked the dragon. Instead of poking a bear, you're going to poke the dragon on this one. By talking more trash in a backstage interview. There was an in-ring promo with Bryan Danielson on Rampage. Says he's never going to retire. He was interrupted by Daniel Garcia, who says he's going to make Bryan Danielson retire. So that was a fun little argument right there. 2 out of 3 falls, John Smith. Daniel Garcia kind of got lucky the first time. I feel like he's pressing his luck right now, and I feel like it's going to come up as a whammy.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you there.
John DeConnie?
Yeah, make it a clean sweep.
All righty. Now let's get NXT going into tonight. We have a big show. We have Heat Wave. Before we get there, I know I'm excited for the show. This is nice. This is a nice 5 matches. I think there's a lot on the line here.
Yeah. Get your beers ready. Smoke them if you got them.
Before we get there, though, John Smith. I don't want to get the Heat Wave. Hold on. We're not at Heat Wave yet. Look at me. Boy's my face, right? Roderick Strong was never going to show in the Creed Brothers Tag Team title match the week prior. Roddy was happy that the Creeds passed the test. It was all a test. Creeds were not happy. They were lied to. Apollo Crews agrees, but nobody asked Apollo. And Roddy didn't like that the Creeds were watching film with Apollo Crews. So Roddy and Apollo fought about it.
Yeah, this is a match that I didn't know I wanted to see, and Roddy's really been impressing me lately. You know, I never was a big Roddy fan. I felt like he was the fourth wheel when he was in the Undisputed.
Yeah, Roddy got invigorated. He's another one that's feeling this effect.
Yeah, and he's also a guy that we all thought was on his way out the door a few months ago too, and now he's got this nice almost heel turn coming. And I mean, I guess he is a heel at this point, but solid match between him and Apollo, but he just couldn't get it done. I forget exactly how it ended, to be honest with you. I'm trying to go back and look real quick, but I didn't get there in time.
It was like a spike slam of sorts, and then Roddy.
It was like a one-handed spine buster.
Yeah,
by Apollo Crews, which looked pretty cool. It was like a choke slam, but for a short guy, so you could get him up as high as like Kane does.
Yeah, Roddy got pissed at Diamond Mine that no one came out to support him. So I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, maybe he didn't ask for anybody to show. And Roddy contradicts himself a lot, so I'm assuming maybe he just didn't. Yeah.
Well, they said it was his test and he passed.
Oh, that's right. It was his. Hey, that's right. They gave back. You passed. Apollo Crews gloating after his win against Roddy. He was approached by Grayson Waller, who doesn't like that Apollo was back in NXT. So Apollo said, "Do something about it." Waller smiled and walked away. So to be continued where that's going. John DeConnie, Nikita Lyons, and Kiana James. Talk dirty to me, girl. Talk nerdy to me. Excuse me. Talk nerdy to me, Kiana. They finally went at it after a couple of weeks of PowerPoint presentations.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Kiana had done all the research, and she came to the conclusion that Nikita Lyons was a problem. And, well, she continued to be a problem because she hit her with a spinning back kick and dropped the clam slam on her and got the 1, 2, 3.
Oh, my God.
I call it a split down. You can call it.
According to Nikita herself, although she wouldn't actually say the words, that's what she proposed to name it. And they went, I don't know about that. But she said, it rhymed with Beth Phoenix's Glam Slam. So
yeah. And I know Pie in the Sky is still from Mickey James way back, Alexis Lurie way back in the day. Yes. Pie in the Sky.
But afterwards, Kiana James got a little bit of revenge. That satchel full of research, she kind of clocked Nikita across the back of the head with it. So I'm guessing that's not over either after Nikita and Zoe head up to the main roster and do their tag thing.
Ariana Grace, she got Marsha Brady'd last week, taking a football right to the face on the campus of Chase U. She was going to try to take legal action after Andre Chase yelled and explosive. He gets me every time he says the F. I just die.
Because you're expecting it, but you don't know when exactly it's coming.
Yeah, I'm expecting it, but I still get surprised by it. It's great. He did it in the UK too. He dropped that bomb in the F you talking about to Eddie Dennis. Anyway, so he said that Andre things that Chase U, they're going to settle him in the ring. So Ariana Grace going up against Tia Hale. Tia Hale, John Smith, her NXT debut, her 2.0 TV debut. And looks like we got a screamer here.
Yeah, it's Thea Hale. I've heard you say Tia throughout the show.
I've said Tia a million times. Yeah, Thea Hale.
Yeah, it's Thea Hale. Not that I care. It's somebody might though. Ariana Grace came out with that nice black eye. Thea Hale. We all thought, or I thought that Thea Hale was gonna win this one, and that Ariana Grace was kind of just like, what about me? But she came out and she made her presence felt, and she did a nice slam down to Thea. I don't know what they called that either. You know me, but that was a nice win by Ariana Grace, and didn't take her very long either. It was only about a 4-minute match.
Yeah, Wade Barrett popped. That was Wade Barrett's finisher, the Wasteland. He popped for that one.
Wasteland, that's what it was.
Wasteland. Barrett was all about that. He was excited.
Wasteland.
Lash Legend can talk, huh? She kept Leak and Idris Anafi occupied for most of the night. Idris finally told Lash to zip it. She got insulted. Pretty Deadly came over to her defense. Tag team match incoming. That Pretty Deadly win after spilled milk. Briggs and Jensen came out during the match to stop any Pretty Deadly shenanigans. Didn't work post-match. Lash Legend attacked Fallon Henley, so look for that to go forward a little bit. Solo Sikoa in the trainer's room. He's out 4 to 6 weeks with a sprained PCL after the Falls Count Anywhere match with Von Wagner. Grimes came over to congratulate Solo with the win. Solo respects Grimes and appreciates his praise. Says he's gonna win the North American title for guys like him and Grimes when he gets healthy. So Grimes kind of took that differently than I think it was intended to. I feel like he got a little insulted on that one. So maybe Grimes just very, very sensitive, very emotional right now. So Grimes then got heckled on his way out of the arena. Didn't fight back. Joe Gacy appeared. Asked Grimes where he was going. Grimes said home. So Joe Gacy simply asked, to who? And it's the loneliness. Wendy Chu attacked Tiffany Stratton in Stratton's dressing room with the glow in the dark vision. What's it called?
Night vision goggles.
Infrared. I was thinking infrared. So she said this one's not over. So we're going to switch gears now, going into tonight's NXT 2.0 Heatwave. Now I can put up the Heatwave banner. There we go. We got the banner going on the matches on the bottom. There we go. We're good to go. Here are the overall standings going into tonight's action after last week's action. Brian's brother, Brian Roy, took this lead back, got 5 more points on John DeCon. He got a 3-point lead right now after that perfect pay-per-view. I won the week last week. I'll take it. 10-2 for 29 points and a perfect. I'll take that one. Nice. Beavis, John Smith, Gary Mehaffy down on the bottom. Here are the overall standings in NXT. Brian Roy, again, leading that. Got a sizable 6-point lead against me. See how that goes. Tonight's Heatwave scoring 5 points for the NXT title match, 3 points for all their matches, 1 point for the non-title match, 5 points if you go Kenny. Before we get into the matches, it looks like Senga, I guess he had a conversation with Ulyssa and Valentinas last week. I was going to bring them somewhere to clear their mind, and then I guess when they're ready, Katana and Casey, I guess to say whenever you come back, there's a title shot waiting for you. I guess they're nice again, right? They're not bitches anymore. Anyway, so that's that. Wesley last week in a British rounds match, he defeated Trick Williams 2-1 in 5 rounds. Little brawl for all action in round 1. Had fishes of Bart Gunn and Dan B. Severn and
Dr. Jesse Williams.
Afterwards, Carmelo is in the ring talking trash about beating Nathan Frazier the week prior, interrupted by Giovanna Vici, saying Melo was lucky that Nathan Frazier beat him to the ring the week prior in Melo's open challenge. So Vinci wants the title shot at Heatwave, and Melo accepted. I like this matchup. John Smith.
I'm still up in the air on this one. I know I called that Vinci's going to win it, and I think I'm going to stick with that. Melo's had this title or been centered around this title ever since he won that breakout tournament. And I think we need to see him, take the next step or see what he could do without that crutch. So love the new Vinci gimmick, and we're gonna see a new champ here, I think.
John DeConnie.
I'm gonna stick with Melo, only because it would be great for Vinci to get that title at this point, but I don't know. I'm still not quite in sync with how they're booking 2.0. Like, it's getting back to things that make sense, and I think it does make sense to have Vinci take it here, but I don't know if they're quite there yet. So I'm gonna say Melo retains.
Speaking of that, I got Carmelo Hayes. I guess I linked it to the British rounds match. Just Melo was there. He was in Trick's corner, and it's linked with that. But I also have it linked because I have Wesley being the one to eventually beat Carmelo Hayes. So I got Melo tonight. Speaking of strange booking, whatever booking that reason, Shawn Michaels took all the blame for it. I saw in an article. They did an article with Shawn Michaels. He's like, Vince and Bruce had nothing to do with NXT the past couple months. It's been me, and it's been tough. I'm learning. So it's
one more reason for me to hate HBK.
Zoe Stark last week, she defeated Cora Jade after her spinning face buster. I don't think that has a name yet, does it, John Connie?
I was calling it tilt-a-whirl. Somebody else was calling it belly to back GTS.
That's not a belly.
But yeah, exactly. She's on the side, but I've seen it multiple times written as belly to back, and I don't understand that.
No, I like tilt-a-whirl. Yeah, that's fun. Post-match attack, Roxanne chased Cora all the way to the back. So this leads into 2 matches for tonight. The first one, these 2 former tag team champions gone wrong when Roxanne Perez was getting ahead of herself. At least in Cora Jade's view, Cora brought her into this world. Now she's trying to take her out. We've seen this a million times before. Best friends turn best foes. John DeConnie.
Yes, and this one's going to be very interesting because I can legitimately see it going either way. But I think because she kind of screwed her out of a title shot, I think this is where Roxy gets her buyback. So that's what I'm going to go with. Roxanne Perez with the victory here.
John Smith.
I'm going with Cora Jade here. She's got to solidify her new heel persona. I think she's going to do some wicked things to Roxy when the ref's back is turned, and I think she's going to win this one.
John Smith, I'm completely with you. When I saw you wrote that in your article, I completely agree, and that's exactly what I wrote too. Cora has not been doing a very good job as a heel. She tried to cheat to win the Battle Royal, didn't work. She tried to cheat to win Zoe Stark, didn't work. She needs something to do heelish to actually legitimize herself as a heel. Cheat to win against the person that everyone's cheering for, the most popular girl in NXT. I don't say she's bulletproof right now, but a loss is not going to hurt Roxanne Perez. So I think Cora needs this right now after 2 failed attempts to win matches. And specifically, if she's main eventing, it seems like if not every week, every other week, Cora Jade's in the main event. So you got to get her back on the winning ways in a big style, in a big type matchup. And they said Roxanne, you just go on, eventually. That's not over. This is going to turn into a street fight. This is going to turn into Falls Count Anywhere. I don't think they're going to bring, war games, 2 months away if they do it? Who knows? But then post-match, going back to last week, the post-match attack from the Stark versus Cora Jade match. Mandy Rose, who was on commentary, tried to attack Zoe, but ended up eating a spinning facebuster by herself. And then ended John DeConnie with the cardinal sin of professional wrestling. So we have the match that Zoe Stark, she won the Battle Royal that I said Cora Jade failed to cheat to win at. Zoe Stark wins. And now I guess the big question is, with this, do we see Zoe Stark on SmackDown as NXT Women's Champion in the Tag Team Championship tournament?
Boy, oh boy. I don't think so. I'm gonna say, but I'm betwixt and between here because Mandy's coming up on who the heck was it? I think she's getting close to passing Io.
Yeah.
Bailey's in the rear view, Charlotte's in the rear. It's only Io, Shayna, and Asuka ahead of her, and it's getting real close for her taking over spot number 3. I'm going to say Mandy gets it done here and retains, but I wouldn't be shocked, I guess, if Zoe took it.
John Smith. Yeah, I don't say this could go either way. There's no reason if they have other plans for Mandy to bring her back up. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, if they were going to bring her up, they'd probably bring her up with Toxic Attraction. I feel like Bailey and Neo and Kai are kind of doing like the same thing-ish on the main roster, so I don't think it's that time yet. I got Mandy continuing her run. You even look at that picture of the two of them, like how does the one on the right beat the one on the left? You got a superstar on the left and you got a wrestler on the right there. Mandy Rose wins this one. Plenty of help from Gigi and JC, I'm sure. And I think Zoe Stark isn't far away from the main roster full time.
All right. The final accord last week, Santos Escobar, I think the man who runs the bingo, putting his NXT career on the line in order to get Legado del Fantasma's freedom. This is going to be a street fight. against Tony Bish, and I believe they had a gentleman's agreement that they're leaving Stacks and they're leaving Cruz and Joaquin and Elektra all in the back, and this is going to be settled mano a mano. John Smith. A lot going on in this match. There's a lot of, you can go this way, you can go that way. Santos going, it's the time for the call up.
I looked at it real simply. Santos has been, kind of taking the brunt of everything this whole feud, and I think he needs to be the one that wins the final match between the two of them. Now, there's also the thought where maybe they plan on having Santos move up onto the main roster and, just abandoning the whole Legado thing. And maybe you could have Elektra turn on him and prove her loyalty to Tony D at the end of this match, which I'm not calling for, but I'm saying if Tony D wins it, I think something like that is what's going to happen. But I'm going with Santos here.
Yeah, John DeConnie. That's an interesting thing.
Yeah, I agree with John that Santos should win this, but I'm caught between the fact that Tony is the guy, the up and coming guy. Like Santos has done just about everything he needs to, not everything that he could do, but everything he needs to do in NXT. A call up makes perfect sense. But I'm going to be selfish and say that when he gets called up, now that Vince isn't in power anymore and factions are allowed to be a thing, I want to see all of Legado go together. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say Santos wins them their freedom tonight, and then in a month from now they can go up together, because aren't they? Isn't there already a rumor out there? SpongeBob me if you need to, that the draft is coming early this year. So I'd love to see that whole unit move up, just like Hit Row did last year.
Before I make my pick, I'm going to get into the next match because it kind of coincides. There was a video package last week for the main event of Heatwave for the NXT Championship. Braun Breaker is big and tough. JD McDonough is smart and Irish. So here we go. So I have Santos Escobar beating Tony D. Skadish to win the freedom of Legado. I have Santos Escobar eventually beating the one to beat Braun Breaker. I have Santos Escobar as your next NXT champion. So for all of that to happen, Santos needs Legado. He needs to win that feud against Tony D. So we got Braun Breaker. Maybe, I don't know. I think John Smith, I think you wrote in the article that Braun's not going to come out of this 100%. In order for JD McDonough to be the dissection gimmick that he's doing right now, I think you're 100% correct with that. He's not going to come out of this 100%, and I think Santos is going to jump on that. So, John Smith, I just stole your pick. I apologize.
Yeah, I got Breaker winning, but he's going to be hurt. It'll be something that maybe the next opponent can take advantage of to beat him, and then JD can take credit for it, and then,
And then we circle right back to Santos Escobar and JD McDonough, John DeConnie. It's a circle.
Yes, I like it. I like it a lot. And I'm going to say that that's how it goes down. I like it.
All right. So that will do for NXT Heatwave. I'm actually really excited for this show. I think this is going to be absolutely great. So let's just get the grade. Boom. And we go. Let's get some promos and let's get out of here because I drank a lot of water and I got to eat them real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. The prime time rundown. There we go. Primetime rundown. There we go. I forgot to roll. I do the roll-ups after this. Primetime rundown's regular season programming has concluded and it is resumed its second summer schedule every Monday at 7 p.m. Although I do believe next week is August 25th. It will be on August 26th. It will be on Tuesday night. And I do believe myself and John Smith will be on that show to talk some AFC East football. So that should be a lot of fun. Join Joey Jarzenka, Ian Schreier, Mike Szabo as they bring you the world of sports. Normally on Monday nights, this next week on Tuesday night, in the thick of the summer, right here on the Eastern Observer. Do you have an interest in becoming a sports reporter? You want to be asking high-profile coaches and players questions in person? Are you a college student looking to break into the sports media industry and looking to write about your favorite team? The Eastern Observer is looking for interested candidates to join our family for college credit. I still can't believe that Joey can actually do that, but it is legitimate. If you want some college credit for an internship, we are the people for you. Look no further. Aspiring writers, social media specialists, content creators, etc. can inquire by emailing eosports3@gmail.com. We're looking forward to having you join Eastern Observer family. Black Cats NYC's new album, Freak Cake, is out now anywhere that you get your music. Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, Amazon. Any platform that you get your music on, you can get now the Black Cats NYC's album, Freak Cake. Out now, play loud. As always, the Essential Wrestling Podcast is sponsored by Pro Wrestling Pick'em, the internet leader in sports entertainment pick'em pools. Join us in the Essential Wrestling Podcast public pool to play against us or to create a private pool with you and your friends. ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends. Play against the universe. And guys, she'll like it too. Join us back here next week for episode 115 at 5 p.m. on all of our viewing options. And while you're here, now watching or listening, please make sure that you like this episode and subscribe to all to the Eastern Observer, and to make sure to get all the updates on all of our shows and news articles. Please hit the like button and subscribe. It is all about the algorithm. Here are the Raw roll-ups from last week. Wesley got one in that British rounds match. It was the second fall on Trick Williams. As Gary and I pointed out in the NXT UK Championship Tournament, Charlie Dempsey completely owned Oliver Carter that entire match, only for Ali to roll him up for the victory in the tournament and to advance in the tournament. And then Brian Myers defended the Digital Media Championship on the Emergence kickoff show, pre-show, whatever it was called. Countdown? What was it called? Countdown?
Yep.
Yeah, against Bhupinder Gujjar. So that puts Impact ahead of AEW for the first time all season. Impact now in second place. Three roll-ups behind Raw. This is getting good. I think Scott D'Amore still's got the fire in him to make sure this happens. Same as the past week, Xavier Woods still leading the way. Dana Brooke, Wheeler Yuta, Liv Morgan 4. And then the Miz and Tamina still at 4 with the most losses via the Raw roll-up. Miz almost had number 5 when Mustafa kicked him in the face last night. I thought he was going to get rolled up for sure by Seti. And then, what do? Just for fun, here's Sweetums again. John Smith, anything before we get out of here?
I'm not so much against all these name changes, but Butch needs to go and Pete needs to come back. After seeing that, I was like, it's just so stupid. He's gone for now, and when he goes back, he needs to be done. And also, Maximum Male Models, I'm still here if you need me.
All right. Don DeConnie, we haven't seen the Brawling Brutes since Hunter took over.
I know. What's going on there? I wonder if Butch is getting repackaged. Who knows?
I was going to say Sheamus and Hunter were from way back. Didn't Hunter get Sheamus? Didn't he find them at a gym and then or something like that? And they're like, oh, you should be a wrestler. And that's how we got Sheamus.
Sheamus is the man who Hunter allowed to quote unquote retire him initially. If that doesn't, mean that he holds him in high regard, what else does?
All right, that will do it. All right, just love the 2 album. I'm almost done. Larry, Steve, forever in our hearts. Alexa Bliss, we love you. John DeConnie, take us home.
Thanks for joining us. And as always, we wish you the best in all your future endeavors.
She hasn't been around either. Well, she